Hey guys, today I'm going to be painting the last dragon from the board game Rising Sun. This is the River Dragon. So we have painted all of the dragons and now we've painted all of the daimyo. So that is quite a feat, I feel. That's quite a lot of paintings because there's some monsters thrown in there as well. Now I do apologize, there was an issue with my camera and so I lost a little bit of footage. All you lost is the base coat of the dragon is in white and the base coat of the ball is in gold from Vallejo. That's literally it. So let's go ahead and paint it up and wrap it up. Okay, so as you can see, we are starting with an Agrax Earthshade. This is going to just be a wash on that gold. Brown is an awesome wash to put on gold, especially a dark one. You can do some red ones too, so like Rykel Flesh Shade is actually really good as well, just because you can get that kind of reddish tint to it, which is really, really nice. I like that. Seraphim Sepia is a little bit more orange, but that works as well. However, I wanted these recesses to really pop. It's got this really cool texture, and so I'm just going to plop it on there. Additionally, I'm going to use it and just cover the entire mini with it, essentially. You're just going to do all of the dragon here as well in this Agrax Earthshade. You don't have to worry too much about it. I didn't have any problem with pooling or tide marks or anything like that. Tide marks are where when you're brushing and the wash like dries and then you brush over it again after it dries, you leave like this mark because now there's two layers there, right? So you can actually see your brush mark. So don't skip around. Definitely go from one end to the other and as he wraps around. But I didn't have any problems with it. I'm sure you won't either. And don't forget his feet on there as well. Alright, next up we have white, and this is just the same color I had before, a very heavy dry, well not very heavy dry brush, a fairly heavy dry brush all over the dragon, and this is to bring back kind of his color and brighten him up a little bit. He should be fairly bright with this kind of the Agrax Earthshade is now the shadowing. It especially shows up in his crevices, like where his feet are and his arms are, where his tentacle things on his back start, and of course on his scales. So it's a very easy way to pop out those scales. So yeah, just highlight it like that. You can't get the bottom of him as much. However, that should be shaded more anyway, so it's okay if it's not quite as white. But do be sure to get kind of all of the tendrils or tentacles or whatever those things are growing out of them. They're round, so you're going to want to kind of do like maybe almost at least 4 sides, you know, as you're brushing. You should be able to cover it all at that point. Alright, now next up we have light green blue and matte white, and this is to do kind of a highlight on him. So if you look at the concept art, you see that there's this like kind of reflective part on his scales, and it's actually this kind of blue-green tint to it, and so this is kind of what I'm doing here. It's not as noticeable here in the light, which is good because this is going to be the normal lighting. It shows up a lot more in my light box for whatever reason. It's just more direct light, I suppose. But it's, as you can see, it's a lot more subtle, kind of under normal circumstances here. But just kind of judge it based off the lighting you want and how big of an effect you want on the shine. If you wanted, you could obviously do like one pass through and then double up and do a second layer, not changing anything. Just 2 layers will make it more opaque, and so you could see like it would blend it perhaps a bit better. But you're just going to do this kind of anywhere where you think the light source needs to be shining. I'm doing it kind of at I don't know, an 80-degree angle or something. I don't know, whatever. Just do it to whatever looks nice. Okay, now this is going to be a contention point. Scaly hide, Lothern blue, and matte white. It's a custom mix. Sorry about that, it's a weird color. And you're going to need a lot of it, so make a lot of it because you don't want to be mixing colors more than once because you're never going to mix it the same way. It's going to be obvious, you won't be able to blend it. Just make sure you have plenty here because it's going to cover a lot. Now, everybody paints this as water, but last I checked, water was affected by electricity, what? Water was affected by gravity, in which case it would go down. And this is not only splashing up, but wrapping itself and enveloping itself around the dragon and the ball. Then if you look at the concept art, it's this kind of weird green, blue, glowy, it's almost like an ethereal flame kind of thing. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to paint it like the concept art is, and I think it's kind of cool, and if nothing else, it's different than any other painter I think has done. Everybody just, it's called the River Dragon, so they just painted blue. Now this is interesting. This is extra heavy gel from Vallejo. You can buy it on Amazon. There'll be a link in the description below. It's awesome stuff. I'm going to be using this in Deep Madness a lot too. As you can see, it's super thick, and so you can mold it for a long time. It takes a while to dry. I give it a whole day. You probably don't, it depends on how thick you do it, really, right? I mean, I can't tell you a certain time because it just depends on how it is. Anyway, I just put splotches everywhere and then I mix it around. One of the nice things about this is there's like this crease where you can see it was added to the flat base, and this will cover it up where that won't even be noticeable. It becomes completely hard and completely transparent. However, I'm not going to leave it transparent. If it was water, I'd leave it transparent, but that's not what I'm going to do. But we'll get to that. Next up, a little bit of gold dry brush. This is a very light dry brush. It's just there to add that little bit of shine, that little bit of glitter to it, not change colors or do anything like that. Alright, now we have gold brown out for the eyes, and I'm just going to do a quick kind of on each eye, and then we're going to highlight it with a little dot later, but they're pretty tiny. It's a pretty quick thing. Screaming skulls for teeth, that's my go-to for bones. I do a screaming skull plus Agrax Earthshade plus highlight, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. Now, it is kind of hard to get in there, and his teeth are kind of interesting. So the mold, the teeth are all one, and so it's like just flattened and then like edged out, and so it's kind of weird. To highlight, just add some white to the gold brown, and you're good to go. I mean, it works. It's an interesting way to do it, that's for sure, but it is kind of hard to get in there. Agrax Earthshade, like I said, for the wash. Don't worry if it pools a little bit at the gum line. I always like that being kind of darker anyway, so it doesn't bother me at all. If it does, I guess be careful if you're bothered by it. Alright, so we got that same color out again. It's now dry. This is the next day, and I'm just painting over all of that. What this is going to do when it's dry, not shiny like this, is it makes the base look exactly like that fire that's coming up. You can't tell the difference. It looks like it's all one piece. It looks like it was molded that way. It's awesome. I love this extra heavy gel stuff, and I hope to use it in more unique circumstances than maybe just water, though that excites me as well. But I think the possibilities here of like sculpting with it seem really kind of cool. Now, we're going to do a couple passes of white as a dry brush, just trying to brighten it up. I thought about perhaps adding yellow to brighten it up. I don't know what that would have looked like. It just seemed like a good idea to me. I'm sure somebody that understands art or the color wheel or what looks good would know more than me. I don't, and so I didn't. I just added white. However, the highlights here kind of... I don't want to say I struggled with it. I wasn't completely happy with it, but it is what it is, so, you know, whatever. As promised, we're going to do a couple here, so here's another one with even more white added. This is not just white, by the way. This is white added to that mix, so it's still the same color. It's not pure white. Pure white would have looked audacious. It would have... no, that's dumb. Don't do that. Unless you want to, then do it. I don't care. Anyway, we're almost done here, and so I'd just like to take a quick moment just to say that I thought this dragon was going to be the hardest dragon to paint out of the box, but he was quick and easy. Not too bad. Don't be afraid of him. He's awesome. Okay, Athonian Camoshade. This is just a little bit on the brush. Notice I can paint it on. It doesn't pool anywhere. It's just barely on the brush, and I'm painting in the shadows here, so in the recesses. This is just to give it a little bit more of a contrast between the highlighted part, the regular part, and then the shadows. And it does shift the color a little bit, but I'm okay with it. I don't care. Alternatively, you could have maybe added like some black to your mix if you still had mix after all this, and maybe darkened it that way. But I kind of like to give it a little green tint anyway. It adds a little bit more color. Otherwise, I think it's a little plain in color. Okay, we're gonna highlight those teeth back. Just make them have a pretty smile. Alright, that's it. Last time, still that same mix. Let's wrap the base, and then we're gonna put some varnish on it. I always do matte varnish. Testers is great. And there it is. There's a final miniature. Guys, I hope you liked it. That was a quick one. That wasn't bad at all. That has to be the fastest mini I've painted in quite some time, actually. And he's huge. And I think he looks great. Certainly better than gray plastic. So anyway, guys, that's the River Dragon for Rising Sun. That's all dragons painted now. So I still have a few more Rising Sun videos to go for sure, but I'm getting hate here soon from Cool Mini or Not, and I'm definitely going to be painting that. So that's going to be towards the end of the month or beginning of February. So looking forward to that as well. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.